have to get this weight off. I feel like nothing fits me. Oh, and look at that. There's the exact reason. Maybe I should go back to keto because I always lose weight so fast. But wait, this guy's telling me that vegetables can't run away from predators, so they actually produce harmful chemicals to protect themselves? Maybe I better just do carnivore because I don't need any sudden broccoli attacks. Plus, that one girl I follow just lost the 20 pounds she regained after falling off track with carnivore, so this diet must work. If you're a woman over 40 struggling with weight loss, you don't need another extreme diet. All you need are small strategic changes that work with your changing body, not against it. After breaking through a 2-year weight loss plateau, by focusing on sustainable habits rather than relying on another quick fix diet, I dropped 50 pounds, which is a weight loss I've maintained for more than 3 years. But that never would have happened if I didn't figure out that what worked in my 20s will never work in my 40s. But that's actually good news. Because between taking care of everyone else, hormones that just won't quit, and a dog who just peed on the carpet, we're freaking exhausted. So in this video, I'll show you 8 small changes that transformed my life after 40, and they'll transform your life too. And none of these are those big dramatic life overhauls that we all love to start but never seem to finish. They're all simple shifts you can start today, that you should start today. Because if you don't, that's just one more day you'll waste living in a body that you are always looking for the fastest way possible to escape from. Let's start with the most powerful 5 minutes of your day. Every morning before checking your phone or getting caught up in the day's chaos, spend 5 minutes tackling your biggest weight loss hurdle. Because if you don't make fat loss your first priority, I promise it will not get done. Maybe that's planning when you'll work out, pre-logging your meals so you hit your calorie goal, or even figuring out how you'll fit in enough protein. The key is to identify your biggest obstacle, the thing that derails you the most often, and then remove that barrier within the first 5 minutes of the day. When you solve your biggest problem when your willpower is the strongest, everything else starts falling into place. But just because you're tracking your food or planning your workout, that doesn't mean that you have to follow all of your plans perfectly. In fact, aiming for perfection is one of the biggest obstacles most women face, which is why a lot of gurus refer to perfectionism as the silent killer of progress. Well, I'm actually not sure that anyone ever says that, but it sounds good and it is 100% the truth. So it's definitely something more people should say. Most women over 40 think they need perfect meal prep, perfect macros, the perfect workout, or why bother? But here's the truth. Nothing about achieving your fat loss goals will ever be perfect. And if you keep waiting for the perfect conditions, then you'll just waste a whole lot of time staying stuck right where you are. Be okay with messy meal prep, imperfect food choices, and having days where you don't hit every target. Because as someone who lost 50 pounds with messy, imperfect action, I promise you that even slow progress beats perfection every time. And this becomes an even bigger reality once you climb over that 40+ hill and your body starts going through hormonal changes that are impossible to predict or control. But something you can do to better control these changes is to quit making excuses about getting your workout done. Whenever you know that you need to get your butt out of bed in order to work out, repeat a mantra that tells your body and your brain that it needs to get moving. My favorite morning mantra is, time to make the donuts, which I know makes zero sense for weight loss, but that Dunkin' Donuts commercial has been stuck in my head since 1995. If you'd rather not think about donuts first thing, you could even do something as simple as counting backwards from 5 and then jump out of bed the second you hit 1. But the secret to making this work is you have to spring into action every time you make it to 1 with no excuses and no delays. Don't lay there dreading what's coming for you in today's workout. Just start. Because there have been so many mornings that I didn't even feel like rolling over in bed, but once I got moving, I am so happy I did. This is especially powerful for women over 40 because our energy levels fluctuate more than they used to. That countdown bypasses the mental negotiation and gets you moving before your brain has time to talk you out of it. But something you need to do if you don't want to stay stuck is you have to quit letting everyone else talk you into following all of their strict diet rules. Stop following the diet where your friend lost 20 pounds in a month. because I can all but guarantee she regained 30 pounds 2 months later. Quit falling for every 25-year-old Instagram influencer because they're not working with the same situation as us women over 40. As someone who's cruising towards perimenopause, you have different needs, different hormonal patterns, and different recovery requirements. Maybe you need more rest days, or at least more active recovery days since it's a good idea to move every day. Maybe you do better with early dinners, no matter how many times you made fun of the over 60 crowd who fill up restaurants by 5 p.m. I'm telling you, they're onto something. Because I eat dinner before 6 and I have for years, and it makes staying on track way easier. Maybe you even need more food around your cycle, especially more carbs. No matter what these stupid men with their stupid million-plus followers try to tell you. Ooh, because it's science. Does freaking science matter if my hormonal rages won't stop screaming for a brownie after dinner? Honor what your body is telling you, not the men who've never experienced the same hormonal fits of rage, but just continue quoting, just trust the science. Which brings us to the biggest mistake I see women over 40 make when it comes to reaching their goals. Instead of just saying, I want to lose 30 pounds, create the daily systems that are necessary to actually lose those 30 pounds. Like tracking protein so you know that you hit a minimum of 30 grams with every meal. Or marking time in your calendar for 3 20-minute walks every day so you know that you'll hit your 8,000 step goal. And creating some kind of meal prep system where you know that you'll have enough protein and other real foods to stay on track. Your system doesn't have to be complicated either. All I do is cook 2 pounds of ground beef with dinner instead of 1, so that way I always have high protein leftovers for lunch. Systems work better for women over 40 because they account for hormonal fluctuations, busy schedules, and our sometimes unpredictable lives. While you can't control what the scale says every single time you step on it, you can control your daily actions so it starts moving in the right direction. And with our 6 small change, let's set you up for tomorrow's success. Every night, get in the habit of spending 10 minutes preparing for tomorrow's wins. You can do things like laying out your workout clothes, prepping your breakfast, planning meals, or simply deciding what your 5-minute morning hack will focus on. This evening reset eliminates decision fatigue and creates momentum for the next day. When you're dealing with hormonal changes that affect your energy and motivation, removing barriers the night before is a crucial habit that will keep you on track. Something else that'll keep you on track is reframing what you currently view as bad days. Whenever you have a day that is filled with emotional eating, or you skip your workout because you just can't find the energy, instead of beating yourself up, stop to ask, what can I learn from this? Maybe you learned that you need more protein with breakfast in order to avoid afternoon cravings. Maybe you figured out that whenever you put off workouts, they just don't get done, so it's something you'll have to do first thing. Every setback you experience is data about what works for you and your lifestyle. This mindset shift is especially important over 40 since our bodies are constantly changing and adapting, which means we need to change and adapt with them. The final small change you need to make for easier fat loss after 40 is to give yourself permission to be flexible. Quit trying to follow every piece of nutrition advice perfectly. And you don't have to stick to a workout plan that isn't working for you. Experiment with different things until you figure out what works for your body at this stage of life. Maybe you do better with a 14-hour intermittent fasting window. Or maybe you already tried that and that's how you figured out that you really do need to eat every few hours. Maybe you thrive on strength training, so you add more of that. Or you really love walking, so that becomes your bigger focus. Just because rigid diet rules seem to work for everyone else, that doesn't mean they'll work for you. We're all different people with different bodies and different preferences. The real trick to sustainable fat loss after 40 is figuring out your perfect routine and then just sticking with that. If you want to learn the routine that finally worked for me after 40 so you can get some solid ideas to build your own, watch this video next. I show you everything I did to finally lose weight after 40, which isn't as hard as everyone makes it seem. At least once you figure out what actually works.